Your identity is not tied up into the things that you own, into what you have, into the people that are in your life. You don't need anything to get started. We've been sold a lie that to be connected to God, we have to embody certain traits and follow a list of guidelines. But that is a difference between religion and spirituality. Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to start your spiritual journey and escape the matrix. So in today's video, I'll be walking you through what spirituality is, how to get started on your spiritual journey and what you need, and how you can incorporate your spiritual practice into your daily life. Once you start to integrate spirituality into your life, you'll begin to view the world differently. So first, spirituality is a way of understanding and interacting with the world. It's about understanding that you are connected to every single thing in your external reality, and it's about tapping into the listening, and it's about tapping into the natural wisdoms and knowings of the universe, and really just tuning in so that you can hear that inner voice. In my experience, spirituality has been about coming home to myself and recognizing that you are more than just your body. Spirituality is unique because it can mean so much more, and it can mean different things to different people. And from what I know, spirituality is a personal experience. So if you decide to go on this journey of discovering your spirituality, it's going to be something completely authentic and unique to you. But the best part about starting your spiritual journey is that you don't need anything to get started. We've been sold a lie that to be connected to God, we have to embody certain traits and follow a list of guidelines. But that is a difference between religion and spirituality. Religion tells you that you need to behave a certain way and that you need to follow a certain set of guidelines. Spirituality says that you are already authentically and inherently spiritual and connected to God. We experience God through nature, through art, through music, through other people, through connecting with ourselves, and there's no one route and no true path to get to source. One thing I've learned about spirituality is that everything that you have ever experienced will be what brings you closer to understanding why we are here and our purpose in this world. My trauma has been my greatest teacher. Really diving into how those things have affected me and what role they served in my life has helped me feel closer into understanding the meaning of everything. One thing I feel like a lot of people can have a misconception about is that spirituality is a way of being. It's not a certain set of guidelines that you're gonna follow. It is the way you experience the world that is different from person to person, but there are certain things that you can do to understand the natural laws of the universe and to grow your spiritual connection. Spirituality is about realizing that you are not the body that you are in. You are not the materials that you have. You are not your thoughts. You are the universe experiencing itself, aka that you are God experiencing the world, which means that you are here to simply just be and exist and take in everything that this world and this life has to offer. This also means that you have the power to craft the life of your dreams. You have the power to create your reality. In the book, The 7 Laws of Spiritual Success, Deepak Chopra says, when you discover your essential nature and know who you really are, in that knowing itself is the ability to fulfill any dream you have, because you are the eternal possibility, the immeasurable potential of all that was, is, and will be. My spiritual journey has been a series of ups and downs. There will be times where you feel like you don't understand why you're going through certain things, but if you stick with it, the meaning is in hindsight and seeing that in retrospect things made sense and that you were on the right path all along. The universe is looking out for our highest good, so when things feel rocky, when things feel shaky, I invite you to just stick to it. You will understand and you will evolve to your highest good. Spirituality, I feel like, is so hard to define. There's not one source that is the best source. There's not one person who's going to tell you and encapsulate all that spirituality is. So do your research, look at different sources. There's different paths that you can go down. I like to incorporate different pieces from different places and shape my own spiritual practice. Here are a few things that I have done to begin my spiritual journey and I feel like has helped me to see the world differently and that have helped me escape this 9-to-5 capitalistic matrix that we live in. So the very first thing is spending time outside. What I've realized is that the more you tune in with nature, the more you have access to its infinite, unbounded creativity. Whether you go to the beach or you go to the park or you go just to your backyard, it really doesn't matter, but finding time to go outside every single day, builds your awareness to understanding the natural ways of the natural world. Nature works in harmony, and so when you go outside and you allow yourself to slow down and be present and be open to all the lessons that the natural world have to offer us, we as humans start to understand our place in the ecosystem, and you start to undo some of the conditioning that you have been taught. Things start to feel less taboo, and it's impossible to neglect our planet. It's impossible to neglect ourselves when we're paying attention to them, when we're showing love and giving time and attention to these natural elements. There are just so many lessons to be learned in spending time outside, and for me, it has honestly changed my life. I feel so at peace when I'm outside at the beach, and usually, you know, you might have an element that you connect to more naturally, but for me, it's like my thoughts just calm down and I can really just witness the beauty without forcing myself to have a place in it all. It's like I can slow down and just exist in these spaces without having to play a character or put up a facade. The next thing that has helped me is to pay attention to what you are consuming. This applies to food, music, conversations, content, people. Our bodies have a natural intuition that tell us when something isn't good for us. So practice listening to your inner voice and also notice how you're responding when you're consuming things. It is so common for you to stop aligning with certain people, certain foods, certain types of music, media when you start to go through your own spiritual awakening. I completely stopped eating meat and dairy for about 3 years, and I believe that this was because I needed to learn about the ethics and learn about the energetics of consuming meat and learn how to be a better person and a more ethical person. But I have heard many stories. Some people have to drop relationships, some people have to drop friendships, and if you want to evolve for your highest good, you have to be open to letting those things happen. Listening to my intuition has saved me from so many things. It has helped me to create better boundaries in my life and has been an act of loving myself, which I feel like is an act of getting closer to source. Because I listen to my inner voice, I communicate with the universe that I am a vessel open to hearing spiritual truths and having spiritual downloads. Another thing that has helped me go deeper into my spiritual practice is by reading books. If you don't like to read, you can listen to audiobooks, but by reading books, I have expanded my awareness so much. Because of reading, I understand things like the law of detachment, the law of attraction / manifestation, the art of being present. And while I read, one thing I do is practice slow reading, which means I'm highlighting, I'm taking notes, and I'm actively trying to integrate the lessons that I'm learning into my life. So my spiritual journey actually started when I read A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And if you're curious about more of my spiritual journey, I have a video on my channel and you can go check that out where I go more into depth about my personal experience. But A New Earth and The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle were so transformational for me. When I read them, my entire worldview just changed. There's so many spiritual nuggets of wisdom in these books, and honestly, they were the biggest, if not the most transformational thing that I did in my journey. A New Earth is about ego and understanding how to detach from that, while The Power of Now is more about being present and how that can change your life. I recommend both, so definitely check those two out. Another book that I recommend is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This book is really short, so you can read it in a day, but it's one of those books where you can go back and you can find something new every single time you read it. Another book I recommend is Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. And then the last book I recommend is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Those are some great books to get started with your spiritual journey, and then there are so many more that you can dive into afterwards. But every single time I revisit these books, I am just utterly speechless, and there's always something that I take from it and integrate into my life. The next thing I recommend for getting started on your journey is finding time for movement. And this might not seem like a spiritual practice. However, I want to challenge your thinking about that. When you realize that you are more than just your body, you begin to feel gratitude for your body because it is a way that you were gifted to experience life. In other words, your body is simply a vessel for you to experience the the world. And that is a gift, so we should treat it with respect and with love. There are so many ways to find movement in a non-judgmental, non-violent way. You can go to the gym, you can start a yoga practice, you can go on walks. Movement is so important for balancing your energy and taking care of the vessel that you're in. A lot of my realizations have happened after working out or during working out, because what it does is it quiets the mind. Movement is somewhat synonymous with a moving meditation. That is why when you're following a traditional yoga practice, oftentimes you start with movement and then you transition into meditation, because through that movement, you are quieting your mind and preparing yourself for stillness and for you to hear spiritual truth. I personally love yoga because it is a practice designed to go deeper into your spirituality. All of this brings me to my next point. Meditation is essential. There is a quote that says, "If you never give yourself the opportunity to experience silence, this creates turbulence to your inner dialogue." I used to feel like I could never hear my inner voice at all. I used to feel like I could only hear my ego, judging, comparing, just negative self-talk all the time, until I began to carve out space to meditate. The thing about meditation is that meditation does not completely quiet the mind. You are still gonna think while you're meditating. It is about simply listening to those thoughts and letting them pass. We often are attaching ourselves to the way we think. For example, when we're experiencing negative self-talk and we're telling ourselves, "Oh, I'm so ugly," we begin to believe that we are ugly because our minds do not know the difference between reality and what we're thinking. So in meditation, we are allowing ourselves to observe the thoughts and we let them pass, which is a form of detachment. Experiencing and detaching, that is meditation. And you don't have to start off doing hours of meditation. You can simply start off with doing 20 minutes of meditation, whatever you can fit into your day. But just sitting there and allowing yourself to be present is key to furthering in your spiritual practice. The last practice I think that you can do to get started on your spiritual journey is to journal. Journaling does not have to be about writing whatever happened in your day, although it can be. Journaling can be writing down what you're grateful for. It can be writing down your manifestations or what you want. Journaling can be writing down prayers. It can be writing down gratitude lists. You can write out lessons that you're learning. You can do shadow work, and you can also explore your inner child. Journaling can be used in so many different ways, but I believe that it's essential because you need some form of record to record yourself throughout this journey so that you can see what you have learned, so that you can keep track of your manifestations, so that you can express gratitude on a daily. You know, you don't have to sit down and actually write in your journal. You can take a video of yourself and speak to the camera, or you can do a voice memo in your note. And you don't actually have to physically write. You could write in your notes, whatever is the most convenient for you. My entire point is that journaling has been so transformational in my spiritual journey. Next, I want to share some spiritual lessons that you can start integrating into your life today. The first is when conflict comes up in your life, and it will, to practice becoming less reactive and more understanding. In life, we have to realize that most people are like mirrors, and we project all of our fears, all of our traumas, all of our hurts onto each other, but do not take things personally, and instead try to meet people with empathy. We have a lot of chaos going on, and it is so easy to meet anger with anger. You begin to do the work of the world when instead of being angry with people, you meet them with kindness. And realizing that most people are just projecting their hurt onto you and that they're not actually trying to hurt you. The next thing that you can start integrating is the law of detachment. You can realize that everything is working out for your highest good. Therefore, you can trust that you can take the path of least resistance. You don't have to force your way through to create the life that you want. You don't have to force your way to having the people in your life that are meant to be. The law of detachment simply means that you can let go and you can trust that everything is working out for your highest good. On the flip side, it also means just letting go and not being attached to things, because what happens will happen. And whether you choose to control it or not, it'll still happen. It'll still play out exactly as it was intended to. It is also becoming detached to external things in your reality and realizing that you will transcend those things. Your identity is not tied up into the things that you own, into what you have, into the people that are in your life. Ultimately, presence and happiness comes when we allow things to flow in our life without trying to control. Finally, practice being present. I was reading the book The Artist's Way, and there's a quote that says, "Success or failure, the truth of a life really has little to do with its quality. The quality of life is in proportion always to the capacity for delight. The capacity for delight is the gift of paying attention." Showing up as the most present version of yourself will make you realize how much there is to be thankful for, even in the face of all of the negativity in the world, even in the face of the adversity that you might be going through. Being present allows you a way through to see the beauty and all that life has to offer. Finally, I want to leave you with some affirmations that you can use as you begin your spiritual journey. I have a daily practice where in the morning I'll say some affirmations to myself, and here are some that you can use if you decide to do so as well. I connect deeply with my spiritual essence. I connect deeply with my spiritual essence. Divine wisdom flows through me effortlessly. Divine wisdom flows through me effortlessly. I align my actions with my soul's purpose. I align my actions with my soul's purpose. I find solace and strength in my spiritual practice. I find solace and strength in my spiritual practice. I am a co-creator with the universe, manifesting miracles. I am a co-creator with the universe, manifesting miracles. So that is all I have for you guys today. If you liked this video or felt like you got something from it, leave a comment below letting me know what you learned or sharing your experience. I would love to hear it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day.